Today I'm bringing you two cases involving alpha-type beings, those gray ones with black eyes, right after the intro. Hello everyone, today we're here on the coast of São Paulo in the city of Santos, and I'm going to tell you about two cases that happened involving unidentified flying object crew members. Beings that are well known in ufology, which are those gray beings called grays, the gray ones with black eyes. The first case I have for you we received on Google in the Guarujá ufology group a long time ago, and it is dated 1985. It supposedly happened here in Santos with a witness who did not want to be identified because she was afraid of being mocked or something like that. It's a very interesting case, and it happened in a building here in Santos, right? We're in the coastal region. As you can see here, there are buildings. The beach is on the left side, and this case then would have happened. I'll call this person ABC, right? ABC, who was a girl at the time. In 1985, she was 11 years old. She says that it was already late at night. She was at home in an apartment like this, and then suddenly in her bed, so she noticed that there was a figure, a person there, small, short. When she started paying attention, she saw that it was a short being, right? Small, about 1.3 meters tall. It had a head that was disproportionate, and she noticed that the eyes were black, right? There was a light inside the house, which made it possible to notice details, including the clothes he was wearing. According to her, it had a kind of lilac tone, and in its hands it was holding some kind of weapon, right? She thought it looked like some kind of pistol, a weapon, something different. And the black eyes are what really caught this witness's attention, right? From ABC. And then when she saw that, at a certain moment, that being started looking at her and went toward a cabinet that was there, half open. And he kind of went inside the cabinet, right? It's a really strange case. And when the being, right, this small creature supposedly went inside the cabinet, she started screaming for help. Her mother came, right? She was an 11-year-old girl. She came to the room and asked what was happening. The girl said there was a being there, a thief, something inside the cabinet. Then they opened it and searched. They searched the cabinet and found nothing. And then the mother said, "Look, you must have dreamed it, right? Something must have happened. Go back to sleep." Then while she was still awake, the mother went back to her own room. And the girl was there, and then suddenly that creature came out of the closet again. And with something kind of whitish in its hand, which she thought might be some clothing or something, although the next day she didn't notice any clothes missing. And as this creature comes out again, she starts screaming for her mother again. Then her mother sees that being and it simply disappears. The mother comes in, they turn on the light, look around the room, look inside the closet again, and they don't find it. They don't find anything else. No trace of that strange creature, right? Which we now know would be a gway. This case, interestingly, what I just told you, it was published in the Subsawa Bulletin, right? Published by GUGWI, the Guarujá Ufology Group, in its July to September 1994 edition. Now I'm going to talk about another case that happened later. This case from 1985 is quite interesting and also involves a creature. It happened near this beach in a certain area over there. We're going to head over to the sand so I can tell you this story. So let's go. The other case supposedly happened like this. It happened to Rafael Monteiro. He saw one of these creatures on the 19th, September 9th, 1993, around 10:50 post-meridian. He was coming back from work around here when suddenly he saw He was on his bike and he saw a creature, right? That was near the beach. And this creature, it was next to some kind of light, right? He said it was a light about the height of a tree, bluish. That would be kind of floating, right? On the sandy part of the beach here. And next to it, then, there would be this strange creature, which he described as being a short creature with a disproportionate head and black eyes. He said that from this light, right? That it wasn't that big, but it wasn't that small either. A certain bluish light was coming out. So it was possible to see that the eyes were black, right? And apparently the skin of this creature was also grayish. What happened? He stopped his bike, kept watching that, and then suddenly this luminous object went up vertically and started moving toward Guarujá, right? We're in Santos and it went in the direction of Guarujá. Curiously, we also have one of the Subsawa reports that describes a sighting that happened on the same day, September 19th, 1993, between 11 o'clock post-meridiem and 11:30 post-meridiem, with some people in the Santa Rosa neighborhood there in Guarujá. And what do they say? Mrs. Christina Xavier, who was 36 years old at the time, and she said she was talking on the sidewalk in front of her house when she saw a luminous object with a blue hue. And this object had a kind of yellow tail, right? So it passed over them. There were other people in the area, and people started to observe this phenomenon, which they didn't know what it was, right? Another witness was Mrs. Irasi Trindade, who observed this same phenomenon. And the young man, Macabe Trindade, who was 16 years old at the time, thought it was the power line burning, since the object was very close to the street. Then he realized the next day that there was no electrical problem, right? And Mrs. Christina's daughter, who is Patricia, and Xavier, who is 16 years old, she thought it was a plane that was on fire, exploding. Because of that unusual glow, that bluish glow, although the object didn't have just that blue light. The interesting thing is that this event happened a few minutes after it was witnessed here by another witness here in Santos. And the object went exactly in the direction of Guarujá, where the sighting continued. So we believe that it could be the same unidentified flying object which was piloted by one of those gray beings, right? So that's the story I had for you about those two beings, right? Alpha, those are the stories, and this case too that I just told you about. It was also published in the Supisawa Bulletin, edited by GUG, the ufology group from Guarujá. So I hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next show, Podcast Live with Edison Boaventura.